being a cancer patient, because statistics doesn't have so smiling or encouraging results about recovery from cancer. So this is a disease that in most cases you think you won't be here the following day. How was that experience where you felt like Netwagambi Muruganda and Tiokesa Lucha? How was that experience? Yes, I understand that it groomed you into believing that there is a time in life when all that matters is life. But most beyond that, how was that experience where you weren't sure of if you have life tomorrow?
Life that is lived on short-term basis is totally a different life. You know, Fena Tumani, and we talk about it until, you know, I will die one day. But that one day is not tomorrow. It's not next week.
Exactly.
And so how you live and plan is based on a very long-term, you know, idea that, you know, where do I see myself 10 years from now or 5 years from now? But if you can't even see yourself 3 months from now, it is very scary. And it is scary, but then for many people, you have to prepare for the worst. You kind of come face to face with death. Nayenga eringanga just eri a few steps away, or there is just a simple wall that is not wall, probably glass, so you can see through it. But what that teaches you is it's important to face your fears in life. Because if you don't face your fears and squarely, those fears will consume you completely. They can crush you, they can at that time I came to a point where nali sitya kufa per se. Naye maybe I worried about my mom, or at that time I didn't have a child, I worried about my family and everyone else. But you know, or maybe you get to a point where no gambo kenzikiriza, now this is not something I have power over, but what do I have power over or control over? It is today. What can I do today? Mm-hmm. There is a book I read, If Today Was Your Last Day on Earth, What Would You Do? That book meant something to me at that time. If today was your last day and you knew, what would you do? There are many things you would want to do or do right. Then I discovered that if it's a day is also long enough. As short as it is long enough to do certain things. A day is enough to reconcile with people. A day is enough to mend, you know, broken fences. A day, just one day, you can literally mend all of them. Repair, you know, you're back into good relations with people. A day is enough to tell people that you love them and they mean enough to you, and to give them the reassurances that they, you know, they've impacted your life. So a day is that short, but it is also very long. So then I started finding hope in small things like that. Until, okay, it may not be a long time, but even if I have 2 weeks, 2 weeks is a long time. If we're talking about day being long, then 2 weeks is really a long time, right?
Exactly.
Yes. And if you have money, you can even travel, you know, to different places in 2 weeks. So you learn to break down life into small, manageable segments instead of just living life grandly na buli kimu. So I kind of got to that kind of point in life. It first gets very scary, then nga toyagala kwebaka nogamba initially nga wakafuna noga whenever kanesizukuka. So it brought a lot of fear about sleeping. And then it caused a lot of insomnia, and it was terrible. And then the body started suffering. That's the bad thing. You see, that's what I told you about fear. Fear is our worst enemy. Kati noti okwebaka, boti okwebaka, no tunula emisana n'ekiro. It breaks down the body faster. Oba obadde ng'osigaza weeks 3, ziyinza okusigala emu. nozisalako kubanga otidde kati otidde kwebaka. So that's why I say omuntu oba olina ekintu kyotidde mu bulamu, try and face it. And I have learned it. It's not easy to face our worst fears or the monsters that scare us most. Naye ne waba muntu woba osobola mugambe Moses, katwogere Moses, wankola bwoti, kimpisa bubi, by the way, kyankola bwekiti. Face it. Now, how he will react is not yours
your business
to take care of. But wobanga gwochi, or you've put it out there, he may have time to think about it and whatever. But so I had what that phase was like. It was both scary. It was very lonely. It is so lonely. Nga togambye bantu choyitamu. So tewali akugambako sorry. Ngolabye oba mnange wabukeeseza. Nobody checks on you in that way. I mean, they would check on you muli bulungi, the usual way you would check on somebody.
And you'd reply to the bulungi.
Exactly.
Because you can't say much. After all, you're conceding the truth.
On days when you don't feel well, on days when I was maybe throwing up a lot, there is nobody to help you. Because nobody knows. So, tobanyigira na banyigira tebamanyi, but there are times when you can do with some help. Atera nenchiga anti no, it's not good. Okufa weka, tofa weka, by the way, and that is one of the key lessons that Kiwis teach. Do not die alone in this country. Do not speak. If they don't hear, shout. If they don't shout, scream. Do not die alone. Tofa weka. Tochifira mu weka. We have to all fena tuleme kwebaka ekyalo because olina ekizibu. And it has been a journey for me to learn that. Kubanga jetuva bagamba oluluma munno terugana kwebaka. So meaning people obera nebizibu abantu ne bagenda nebebaka. It's not so with Kiwis. So it's a bit hard because you kind of live your life through everybody. So oba nekizibu oba nekintu kyonna ebirungi era byonna balina somehow okubiyingira mu bamanya. Naye nebibi it's the same thing, which is beautiful. So tosobola kufa weka. Naye it is a bad thing okulowooza nti we are strong enough to handle things on our own. And it can crush you. It can literally crush you. I think the only thing that took me through that time is God nekwata ku Katonda bwenti nga simuta any minute nga ndaba bwanta oba bwe muta nandekawo tajja kunsangawo. So it felt like that.
Did you reach a level in life where you cursed God? Where you felt that God was unfair?
No. Incidentally, I didn't. Because I saw people who suffered way more than I did. And I saw people who had a very short time to ever deal with anything. There are people who, even here recently, I had a friend who was diagnosed and they died in 2 weeks. So when you see how this has been very unkind to other people, and you still have 3 weeks to plan, then you become grateful instead of being very grumpy, if I can say that. So I think I leaned more on stories of people who are in worse situations than I was. And I found a lot of courage from them, especially because they were not complaining. So I tried to stay away from people who must have been complaining. And it's something I learned from Islam. And never despise anybody. Omuntu eyakinsomesa yali driver waffe ku mulimu. Yangamba Auntie Julie, wobanga oyagala okubeera grateful mu nsi, Islam teaches that you look at those who are below you and in our situation. But if you want to complain, look at those who are above you and doing way better and they are in good health, you will find all reasons to complain. That thing stuck with me all my life. So I never felt angry. I just felt grateful for life, but I felt sad that my life had been cut short without me having, realized a lot of dreams that I had at that time.
Thank you so much. I'm further impressed, encouraged, but also love the fact that we are daring the undareable, because these conversations are not the most welcoming. I know. I don't want to sound like I'm planting some pessimism or worry in you, but I've also heard that cancer survivor, oh no, you told me not to use that word, cancer conquerors usually end up again being diagnosed by cancer in the next test or diagnosis. For your case, have you from the time you got the first diagnosis and it was all well, have you got any other after that?
No, but I can tell you, I have to test every year. And every year, it's the same. The pressure, my pressure goes up. I am worried. I am not eating. Even when you're praying and believing God for the best, honestly, always that is the worst time of the year for me when I have to go back for those tests. You hate the process of how the procedures are done. There is nothing. It just reminds me of those dark days, and I never get used to it. And until the tests are in, the results are in, there is a level of anxiety. There is a level of worry, even when you're trusting God and you're like, Mukama, nsaba zijjenga nnungi kubanga bwe zijja ngambi. So when they come back and you're like, oh, then I can eat. So it's something I never get used to. And I guess it's the same for other people. When it's so easy when you go or something and you're not worried. You're in the waiting room and, okay, so these are not even results that ever come back in a day. So it's weeks of waiting naturally. So they can be very painful. And most of the time I try to put my mind off it and try to do other things and try to obongo busigala bugendayo, what is coming out of the results. Katono from that time Josie Subira. Pressure ngeyongera okulinnya. What are they delaying about?
What are you doing? Are you with someone at home? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just thankful to God. Every year when you have a new bill of health, it means a lot. It means a lot because things can just be different, just like that. Yeah.
Yes, that confirms vividly that you're cancer free, and for that we have all the reasons to celebrate, all the reasons to thank God. And all the reasons for those who don't believe in God, all the reasons to thank Mother Nature, all the reasons to thank the support structure around you. And in this, for me, it speaks a lot. It speaks a lot about life and the true meaning of it. But also, this is an opportunity for those watching us. You might be a cancer victim, but you might have lost a loved one to cancer. Or in the other segment, you might be having a friend, a family member who is a cancer victim. This information is both for Julie to tell a story, but also to share from my experience. Perhaps there could be one or two things that could be speaking to you. Julie, a word to those three categories of people I've mentioned, but particularly those that are battling cancer right now. A word to them.
Okay, so first of all, I would want to say this. Let us get into the habit of taking our health seriously, especially you only go to hospital. There are people I talk to now, I don't go to hospital for what? I don't feel sick or anything. Now, having regular checkups is very important because what happens is if anything is wrong, if they catch it early, the chances of dealing with it and saving your life are quite high. So, but ekintu kyonna bw'ojjanga obudde buyiseeko kikaluba. I would want to say that. But secondly, listen to your bodies. Aba fenna omanyi twayiga okuguma kuba our training is like that. nze era ngamba nnyo abantu ffe gye tuva n'abakyala ne bwe baba bali muleba bakugamba guma toleekaana tokaaba bimire, take it in. We are used to taking it in quietly. It doesn't work that way when it comes to health. I have seen people who have been diagnosed from a very simple thing, and then it was just something terribly worse. So listen to your body. If anything feels a little bit off, or watch the game you can go home, other than you thinking that you know that there is nothing wrong when actually something could be terribly wrong. So listen to your bodies. But for those who are already on this journey and battling this journey, people may be at different stages of that journey. The common thread I have seen with people who are battling any illness that could be terminal, it could be cancer or anything else, there is power in positivity. I don't know how it works, but there is power in being positive. And it is therapeutic. I don't know exactly, and there is the science behind it probably. It's important to be very positive. There are people who just refuse. I'm not going to go down with this illness. I've seen them. I will not go down with cancer. And they've been able to, fight it. A lot of our pains and illnesses and all that do respond to positive attitude, positive, attitude of gratitude. They do make a difference. I saw that for myself. Like I said, try and fly light. However, what I will say is that there are people who can get healed with all these therapies, whether it's a combination of pharmacological, interventions or nutritional or supplements, whichever. I mean, different people have different stories. I don't disregard any one story because there are people who have gone herbal or whatever, and it has worked for them, depending on many things that I may not know. Now, what I just want to say is that regardless of what woli on that journey, abantu abamu for sure they'll be healed, and there are so many miracles. But like Jesus said, there are people who may not be healed. It doesn't mean that you didn't do everything that you had to do. It doesn't mean that. And it doesn't mean that you made wrong choices or anything like that. Life happens. God controls life over and above everything else. For some, he will heal. For some, he may not. Ultimately, what matters is your relationship with him. And when you get to that point where you say, this is going to put me in a closer relationship with him, and we figure it out, me and him, then you get peace. I recently was working with somebody who is terminally ill, and he told me something profound. Young Amber, I'm looking into the word of God and reading the Bible, not for miracles, but for an experience with God. He told me that 3 weeks ago. I was so stunned. Mubulumi bwe yangamba nze sisoma kufuna miracles, nsoma kumutegeera oyo ali waggulu. That's what that man told me. So whatever stage you're at, I think the most important thing is that we can only do so much. Nabasawood, sometimes they can only do so much, but ultimately having a relationship with the giver of life is what makes the difference.